Good afternoon. Welcome back to some more Ace Attorney. Hello. Oh, so it's a good job I don't have a webcam yet because I look a right mess. I have my hair in a turban for one of those, not an official turban, one of those shower turban things, those hair wrap things. I've just had a shower and I cannot be bothered to dry my hair. It is too cold. So I'm sat here at the laptop instead with a hot cup of coffee and pretending to be a defense attorney. So I'm hoping actually that today will be the day we finish this because it's hard. We're kind of, I do this thing where I just don't set all of my tech at the same time, and I really should. I've been doing this for what seems like days now, and hours and hours and hours. So I'm hoping that this will be the end of Farewell My Turnabout, and the beginning potentially of the whole next game, because I'm fairly certain that this is the last chapter in Justice for All. So I'm going to go with that's a thing. So shall we grab the game? Shall we get started? Shall we do what am I doing? Game capture. That's what I want. That's the one I want. Look, there it is. Okay, let's do this. Okay, right. Okay, so we're still in the midst of Maya's drama. So right, well, what's going on with Maya's situation? The killer. It looks like he got away again. 30 minutes. We can't find her in that time. Okay. Report. Is that Mr. Edgeworth? We don't have time. Just spit it out. Right. It looks like we just missed them, sir. But the killer left a few things behind by accident in his rush to get away. A few things? Can we use any of them as evidence? Huh. I thought you'd ask, pal. I've got the things he left with me right now and I'm on my way over. Really? Like, whilst thanks, shouldn't you be looking for Maya? Like, isn't her survival far more important right now? Really? That's odd. Any items like that are usually sent to the crime lab first. You don't have time to wait for those guys. When those guys weren't looking, I swiped the stuff and ran. What? Well, I'm not a detective anymore, so I had to. I'm really sorry, sir, but I've got to put the law on hold for now. Sounds bad. I hope he doesn't get in too much trouble over this. With my hunk of junk car, I'd say I'd be there in about 20 minutes, so don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling out all the stops and running every red light. That sounds like a terrible idea, Gumshoe. Like, you're going to get either yourself or someone else killed. Items left by the murderer. Maybe there's something among them that will be decisive enough to end this. What happened? Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me. No one can stop me. Is he had a crash? What happened? It sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? This is exactly what I said would happen. Oh, we've got to hurry and call for help. We have no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken and he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen. Well, if there is a way we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance. Why, oh why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Running red lights? Just gonna put that out there. Is there any way to find out exactly where he is at this moment? Is there any way to find out? Okay, let's think this through. We can't send... We can't send Pearls or Mia because he can't channel. So that's not a thing. Do we have anything? Should I just wing it and... Oh, what about Von Karma? What's she up to right now? She's itching to get involved. There is a way. We'll send Von Karma. That's right, there is a way. What? How? I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through this. Oh, the transceiver thing? She's got it. She's got a chip on him, hasn't she?
Take that!
Why are you bringing up Francisca at this time? Oh, I see. I'll try and get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have. Francisca. Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth? What is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty. But what I'm doing now, I'm pinning the guilt onto someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say, Defense Attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears, or whether you did your job well or not. It can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict. Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff. There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I have to go take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. What must I do, though? Okay. So let's just save that there. Okay. Let's see what we've got next. We're rabbling. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready? Yes, Your Honour. Yes, Your Honour. I can understand the defence acting like this. However, why do you also seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? That is, it's nothing, Your Honour. What's wrong with Edgeworth? It looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Ooh, was the note actually a forgery? Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court the results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Impax's suicide note. Yes, Your Honour. Unfortunately, you've discovered that this suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Impax herself. It is a fake. Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Impax, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Carrida. Mr. Carrida? Well, well. It looks like Miss Impax never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about On Guard. However, Your Honour, even though this suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. On Guard could not have known that, and so that facts remain unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. That does sound very plausible. This theory that On Guard had no idea that the suicide note was fake. Something seems a little wrong with it. Wouldn't he was spying on him, wouldn't he know this? The defense believes that the theory the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. On Guard to have not known it was a fake. He was spying. Do I have a spy camera? Yeah. What is this little item called again? A video camera, Your Honour. Well, a very small one, but... Oh, that's right, a camera. You kids and your fancy toys nowadays. Mr. Edgeworth, earlier you claimed that Mr. On Guard knew of the existence of this note because he was spying on the victim. Isn't that right? If that were true, then this means Mr. On Guard would have known that the victim had forged the note. Okay. So at least we're getting somewhere. So then the defendant knew that this suicide note was a fake? And if that's true, then the situation has suddenly changed in a very dramatic way. Exactly, Your Honour. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. On Guard's motive for murder was has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But, Your Honour, it's not as if Mr. On Guard monitored Mr. Carrida 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote the note in a place Mr. On Guard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth. It looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. Huh? As you figured? As I figured. It came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, you are not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? If the prosecution can't prove Mr. On Guard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honour, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Oh, well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Edgeworth stuttering. This is not like him at all. Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is one who is perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley de Killer to commit murder? That's impossible. Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth. Who is this witness? It's, yes, go on. Who is it? The man himself, Mr. Shelley DeKiller. Oh, Mr. DeKiller. What? Shelley DeKiller? We're gonna get the assassin on the stand. You mean the killer? I mean the assassin. Yes, Your Honor. He's coming here, to the witness stand. Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognise that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright? Yes? Is this all right with you? Do I have a choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defence has no objections, Your Honour. I wonder if it is really all right to do this. Very well then, the prosecution calls its witness to the stand. Edgeworth. Is there no other way left to us? But doesn't that mean that we've caught up with him, though? Surely then we've got him? Like, and Maya? Maya's okay? Surely that's... Now then, witness. Your name and your occupation, please. Oh, we're gonna... Very good, sir. My name is Shelley DeKiller, and I am a professional assassin. We're doing it via the transmitter. Of course we are. Of course. I say, what is going on here? Your Honour, how can you remain so calm? And what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honour, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. DeKiller will testify to this court. So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot allow this in my court. First of all, we can't even be sure this is really Mr. DeKiller himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof that you are, in fact, Shelley DeKiller. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya! Maya! A voice? Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defence has no objections to this person. We are satisfied that this man is indeed Shelley DeKiller. It looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness. There is one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Carrera, is that correct? It is as you say. I did indeed kill Mr. Carrera. And now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well. This is all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it. It's a bad dream. Shelley DeKiller, what is he going to say? About my client. Okay. There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I am here on the witness stand today. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Okay. Mr. DeKiller seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honour, I mean, does he appear to be our enemy? Mr. DeKiller is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about this trust between his clients and himself thing? It seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honour. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Phoenix. Okay, about my client. This is very interesting. Maybe. Maybe. There is something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more than important than the... Oh, Jesus. I'll take my tongue tie out for a second. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. Okay, let's start pressing things. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that is why you're testifying in this manner? This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the To Kill a name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did... Yes. That person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly... That's enough, please. No more. Very well. It was only hypothetical anyway. And that is the reason I'm here today on this witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept. What have you broken your... Are they not your client anymore? That seems a little strange to me. I mean, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside of their prescribed role. Their role? It's Adrian Andrews. This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. The only person that's done that is Adrian Andrews. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now. Excuse me, but would you care to die? No, I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. It is my wish that you grasp this concept. Okay. So... Okay, look. If we've got anything else to say. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about my identity. I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. You said that your client had already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person. I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. Just my luck. An assassin with a conscience. Who would have figured? Who would have figured indeed? Now then, everyone, do you think you can understand my logic? This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Okay? Okay. Everyone understands your point, I think. Really. In that case, I believe I am prepared to disclose the information you seek. You have made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready. Excellent. Okay, and that is the reason... Okay. Let me just double check something, because Kaylee's just said she's on her way home, and I just want to see how far away she is exactly. Just want to see on the map how long it's going to take her to get here. Okay, about an hour and a half. That's fine then. We're good. We're good for time. Go away, map. We don't want you. Okay, so yeah, that'll take us to about 2 hours, so that's fine. Okay. No problem. Okay. Let's ask him about the name of his employer then. Employer, client. Is that not all the same thing? What is it? No, I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness, what is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corrida? That person's name is... Adrian Andrews. I knew it! What? Objection! Witness, that's not who you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. What? This can't be. On the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. DeKiller just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back? I'm sure in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. DeKiller told him a different name. Matt on guard, perhaps. I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. This witness is telling a very serious lie. But you were the one who summoned this witness. You, Shelley DeKiller. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is Matt on guard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow. All of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this. Yeah. What is Matt on guard's deal, though? The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided this suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility that the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitive of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. DeKiller's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means Mr. Matt on guard is innocent. I seem to have caused you all a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. Bailiff, please bring Miss Adrian Andrews in immediately. What now? With the way this is going, on guard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. DeKiller is lying. And on guard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can I live with myself if I win this? Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? Your Honour, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley DeKiller is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now, it was all one big lie. Ms. Andrews? What is actually going on here? The suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now, You have to believe me. It's a horrible, horrible lie. Okay. But Mr. DeKiller himself has testified. He has named you as his client. No, that's not true. Also, there is quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and the button, donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celestine Pax was a big part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. I know. Mr. Wright. You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story. Who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. Yes, I know the truth. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honour. I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defence for any final words or opinions. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? I mean, we can't just... Let's just keep going, Phoenix. I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt on guard is a killer. A murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I am no better than on guard. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the fact that it is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten on guard convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust? I never thought about it until now. I trust him? Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defence requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. DeKiller. Am I hearing you correctly, Mr. Wright? Right. But that witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through witnesses' lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honour. There's still more evidence to look at. And I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well. The trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. DeKiller. Right away, Your Honour. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk with you a little more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need me for? Well, actually, we would like to hear everything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done. But what shall we have him testify about now? Mr. DeKiller, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. You legal people and your procedures, is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? Okay. As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another for the crime. While pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene, Adrian Andrews already knew from the very beginning that Juan Carrera was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. This is a most unexpected turn of events for the 5th time now. However, this time, everything has finally been revealed.
Objection!
Has it? Just a second, Your Honour. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth? We still have the cross-examination to do, but you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Your Honour, the defence will question the witness, as if I have a choice here. Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defence's case. If you scrutinise the testimony, then I'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes 2 of us. Okay. As I've already stated, however, tampering... Or she already knew. If she already knew, why would she leave her fingerprints? You wouldn't accidentally leave fingerprints. Let's ask about the fingerprints.
Objection!
Thank you so much for taking the time to testify, Mr. DeKiller. What is the meaning of that attitude? When Adrian Andrews entered the victim's room, your client had no idea that Juan Carrera had been murdered. But how do you know that? From this wine glass, Your Honour. The glass? Mr. DeKiller's supposed client thought Mr. Carrera had only fainted, which is why this glass of tomato juice was poured for the victim. But isn't that just a part of Adrian Andrews' calculated plan? That is not possible, Your Honour. This glass bears the fingerprints of that person. Had this been planned, they would never have left their fingerprints behind. I see your point. Mr. Edgeworth, what is your opinion? Strangely enough, I had the same exact thought just now. Witness, how do you explain this strange phenomenon? Isn't it a waste of time to ask about such a minor detail? It's not a very important point anyway, correct? No. I'm afraid you are mistaken. If Adrian Andrews really is your client, as you claim, then your client should have had knowledge about Mr. Carreda's death. If not, then that can only mean that Adrian Andrews was never your client at all. How strange. Yes. Why is it that the attorney has yet to raise an objection at this absurd situation? Phoenix, if DeKiller figures out what we're up to, we're in real trouble. Yeah or no?
Objection!
Mr. Edgeworth, I'm surprised. You know you can't say things like that without any evidence. Sorry. Well, that was an awfully weak objection for the 2 of you. Anyway, I am positive that there was a contradiction in that testimony. The prosecution requests further testimony concerning when the request was taken. Very well. Right now, I have to buy us more time. While we wait for the items DeKiller left behind to get here, I just know that the very outcome of this trial lies with those items. Oy. Okay. Let's see what this testimony is about. This request came to me, about a week ago. It was a request for my services on the night of the award ceremony. We met at a certain bar to discuss and finalise a few matters. That is what occurred. I trust my memory, and I believe I have made no mistakes. So you physically met your client, huh? that is correct. Meeting one's client is the first step to building trust, in my opinion. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. Okay, so he physically met... So he should be able to describe her.
Hold it!
So you physically met Adrian Andrews, right? Of course I did. What was that? What was with that brief pause? Press. Witness, I would like for you to give us a few more details. I always meet my clients as a matter of principle. I've never taken a request by telephone or mail. And why is that? That's because I value the trust between a client and myself above all else. And the only way to establish that is to speak to the client while looking them in the eye. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? I can't think that it is. Why he meets his clients is not important, and that wasn't the point. Witness, please stop sidestepping my questions. What do you mean by that? My question was, did you really meet Adrian Andrews in person? I've already told you, Mr. Wright. I did. It was only through talking with him face to face that I began to trust him. That's when I thought, I can trust this person as a client. He's heard the name Adrian and thinks it's a man. It's true what they say about talking face to face. Well, Mr. Wright, was the testimony just now of any importance? It was very important. If I heard what I think I heard just now, then I think I've got him. Your Honour, I believe the testimony just now was of the utmost importance. Huh? Really? If that's the case, witness, please include the statement just now in your testimony. Very well. Okay. From the moment I saw him, I thought I can trust this person as a client. Do we press it, or do we just present the fact that she's a woman?
Objection!
I would like to go over this one more time. You met Adrian Andrews at the bar and took the request at the time, correct? Yes, that is correct. And that's when you thought he was trustworthy? How many times must I repeat myself? Yes, that is correct. I'm sorry, but that is an impossible tale. What? Shelley the Killer? You've never met the real Adrian Andrews. Why would you say that? Because you made one very big slip-up about her. So what is the issue? What did you say just now? About her? If you had ever met Adrian Andrews in person, one look would have told you that she is a woman. Oh. Order in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? This witness testified to the following. That he always meets face to face with his clients when taking their request. But he has never met Adrian Andrews in person. Yes, Your Honour, that is exactly the point. That means Mr. De Killer's client could not have been Miss Adrian Andrews. Ugh. Mr. Edgeworth, I understand your logic on this one. However, why would the assassin make such a basic mistake? I believe it has to do with her name, Your Honour. Her name? Yes, Adrian Andrews is without a doubt a very androgynous name. Yes, I see. Unlucky for Mr. De Killer. The entire time he was on the stand, no one had stated Adrian Andrews' gender, and so he simply picked the wrong gender to go with. What is going on? Shelley de Killer, this court demands an explanation. I think somehow I must have mixed up this client with another. So does that mean you remember something different now? Yes, of course. Please, if you would allow me to testify once more. Ugh. I know he's just going to spit out more lies. Very well, but this time, please give us the truth and nothing but the truth. Okay. Request part 2. Yes, now I remember. I took that request by mail, but you never take jobs based on what you just said. So, no, not true. Not true at all. There have been times when I took a job without having met my client. The request was for the murder of one Corrida and 2 or 3 other small things. When I saw the name at the end of the letter, I thought my client to be a man. Interesting, but also no. So you took this job through a letter. He didn't mention anything about a letter in his earlier testimony, which means he's definitely lying. Be careful, Phoenix. If you break the assassin's testimony completely, it's over for us. I know. I can't make him suspicious, but I think we're okay. Like, we can do this. As long as he's standing there across from me, no matter how strong of a punch I throw, he'll counter it. Now then, let's begin the cross-examination. Okay. What should we cross-examine? We took the request by mail. What other things? Let's ask about the other things. 2 or 3 other things? Yes. And what were these other things? A few of other things that have nothing to do with this case. What should I do? Should I let him slide with that? It'd be really bad if I pushed his buttons the wrong way and he got mad. Let's just keep going. Whether or not they're related to this case is for the court to decide. Mr. Attorney. Yes. Everything I have said from the beginning has been nothing but beneficial to your client, which is why I wonder what is pushing you to continue with this cross-examination. Could it be that you are planning to betray your own client? I smell the stench of a backstabber. And should you turn out to be one... Wait. Uh-oh. This is looking really bad. I shouldn't press my luck. Alright, I have to think. Is this worth pursuing? Yes. Witness, this is a very important matter. Please cooperate and tell us what these other jobs your client requested were. If it's truly that important, I suppose I don't have much of a choice. The bear figurine. The bear figurine? After the assassination of the target, I was to find that figurine. I was told that this job was just as important as the actual killing. And where was that figurine? It was inside Mr. Corrida's suitcase. And then what did you do next? I handed it over to my client right away. You gave it to your client. Interesting. This information certainly sounds important to me. Witness, please include what you just stated in your testimony. As you wish. Okay, so... should we... This bear figurine?
Objection!
Shelley de Killer. If you had really given the bear to Miss Andrews, then this item should not have been inside it. This item? I see where you're going. Yep, that's where I'm going. Where is everyone going? Do I need to pack a suitcase? Your Honour, please think back to Miss Andrews' testimony. And I was going to burn it for her sake. If even for a single minute, this bear had actually been in Miss Andrews' hands, I'm sure she would have taken the suicide note out and burned it. Order, order, order. So that's where you two were going. So by the very fact that this suicide note was still inside the bear, it tells us that your client didn't know how to disassemble the puzzle. Which means... It means, Your Honour, that it is impossible for Adrian Andrews to be the client. Order, order. Ugh, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I'm sure I mentioned this before, how I hate traitors above all else. I think your cross-examination has clearly demonstrated something to me. You must wish to break your end of our agreement. No, that's not. That's enough. If that is your intention, then there is only one thing for me to do. Wait, please. Gentlemen, ladies, please excuse me. I have a matter that I must attend to. No, please. Not that. Please wait. Mr. Attorney, bring this trial to a speedy end, and I may stay my hand. Otherwise... What in the... Mr. Wright, are you... Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honour. I didn't understand this witness's outburst just now. Do you think there is a need to hear more testimony, or is this enough? Well, we should... Edgeworth, can't do this. Keep yourself quiet, chill. The prosecution, What has come over everyone? Even you. The prosecution rests. What is going on around here? The prosecution has no further questions, Your Honour. What? Well, I never thought I'd see the day. This is a most unusual situation. If the prosecution rests with no further questions, then the prosecution has failed to uphold its stance. If that is the case, then even though I am reluctant, I must believe that Mr. De Killer's testimony is accurate. That would mean that Shelley De Killer's client is Adrian Andrews. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honour. If I end the trial here right now, then your client, Matt on Guard, would be declared innocent, and in his place, Adrian Andrews would be charged with murder. Miss Andrews would be charged with murder. The prosecution has no further questions, so we will now hear the defence's final remarks. Bailiff, please bring the defendant, Matt on Guard, to the stand. The items from De Killer's hideout didn't make it in time. We tried as hard as we could, but it looks like our time has run out. Can't believe it. The outcome now lies in your hands. Dude, did the old guy finally decide? To be honest, I can't think of you as truly innocent and good person, as a truly innocent and good person. You've done enough evil to drive a woman to suicide. But, at least on the charge of murder, it would appear you are innocent. So, I guess even the old fuddy-duddy figured me out. Mr. On Guard? What an atrocious lawyer I have, giving his own client up like this. And that refreshing like a spring breeze crap. It's just as atrocious, don't you agree? Anyway, get on with it and pronounce me innocent already. Right, Mr. Lawyer? Should I side with justice? Or should I save Maya's life? You better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? But if I did that, Maya will die. But if I say he's innocent, then Miss Andrews will be charged as a murderer. Do I say he's guilty or not guilty? Either choice I make, someone's life is going to end. Oh dear. It all hinges on what I choose. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defence's final statements on this matter. If the person who hired the assassin was Adrian Andrews, then your client, Mr. Matongard, is innocent. There's no need to ask, old man. After all, my lawyer is going to say what I want, aren't you? Right. I can't do this. But I have to decide something. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. My client, Matongard, is... Ooh. He's guilty. We're going to have to... I mean, Maya will never forgive us, and we can't let Adrian go down for something she didn't do. So we're just going to have to hope beyond all hope we can find a way out of this. We are waiting for your answer, Mr. Wright. Matongard, your client deserves an answer. Maya, I'm sorry. Matongard is...
Objection!
Von Karma? Finally? Franziska von Karma. What are you doing? Ow. You see now, don't you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? This is exactly why you should never take your eyes off that scruffy fool. Did you bring them? The final pieces? Do you have them? You should know better than to ask that, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Von Karma is perfect in every way. The evidence in here is in perfect condition. Don't worry about Scruffy, he's fine, and his injuries are minor. All of the items are inside this. What a filthy old coat this is. That's gumshoes. I can spot his tattered rags anywhere. I apologise for its ugliness, but there was nothing else to wrap the items in. I fought long and hard this whole trial, all for what is inside that raggedy coat. I'm sure that inside that coat lies a crucial piece of evidence. Your Honour, inside that filthy coat are the defence's final pieces of evidence. Your final evidence? This trial is already over. All that remains is for me to hand down my verdict. I do not believe that any evidence presented now would change the outcome of this trial. I'm just going to save this just in case this goes badly. Okay. What?
Objection!
Your Honour, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence, down to the last. Okay. I just want to check. I want to know if there's two endings. I don't want to know what they are, but I just want to see. Okay. There absolutely is 2 endings. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this because I want the achievements, you guys. We're gonna do this, and also it's good to see. Okay, Your Honour, it is our duty to examine every piece of evidence down to the last. I request that Ms. Von Karma be allowed to present these pieces of evidence. Okay, so let's go for one ending and then we'll see. So, okay, it's recommended that we do the bad ending first. So I've got a little bit of help here. So this is fine. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this thing. I suppose you're all right, Mr. Edgeworth. I grant permission to do so. However, this one obvious rule applies here. If these items do not bring up any new points, then they will not be accepted by this court. Now, Miss Von Karma, if you please. These pieces of evidence are items left by De Killer during his escape from the police. He must have been in quite a rush. Yes, Your Honour. De Killer left 3 pieces of evidence. Somewhere among the evidence we're about to see, there will be something that will turn this whole situation around, like a miracle. I'm sure of it. That is all we can hope for. Okay, the first item is a pistol. Does De Killer's pistol have anything to do with this case? Okay, let me just check what I've got to do here to get the bad ending. Should we question for more details? Let's question for more details. Okay. Does that pistol have any relation to this case? We have yet to perform a ballistics test, so I can't say anything for certain. However, I believe it has something to do with this case, at least with me. That's the pistol that he used to shoot you, isn't it? That's what I believe, yes. Oh. I kept the bullet they removed from my shoulder as a sort of memento. I'm sure it will be an excellent sample for the test. So that's the pistol that was used to shoot Francisca. It's probably not going to help us very much. The second piece of evidence is this videotape. Okay. Have you checked the contents of that tape? Unfortunately, there was no time to. Oh, yeah. But I would speculate that this tape is very important. Why would you say that? Because he came back to his hideout for it. De Killer went back for it? That's right. It looks like he was trying to recover it. He injured 3 of the officers at the site. But somehow it looks like they managed to protect it from De Killer. Charlie De Killer is no ordinary man. The last piece of evidence is his bellboy's uniform. Is that a uniform from the Gatewater Hotel? Was that used during the crime? I'm almost certain it was. There's even a pair of black leather gloves in one of the pockets. There's no doubt about it. The killer was wearing this on the night of the murder. There is one thing I found interesting about this uniform. And what is that? There is a button missing on this uniform. A button? It's a very unique button. I'm sure if we were to recover it, it would provide us with an interesting clue. That is all I have to present, Your Honour. It's just as I thought. And what is that, Your Honour? I'm sure, were we under normal circumstances, these items from Shirley de Killer's hideout would be very important clues. However, our question is not who did the killing. It is who is the client. Yes, that is correct. And these 3 items do not tell us anything about that. Thank you for your hard work, Ms. Von Karma. You may step down.
Hold it!
Wait, Your Honour. Please allow me to examine this new evidence. Overruled. This court already has all the evidence it needs to hand down a verdict. Wonderful. Absolutely splendid. This judge is such a brilliant man, isn't he? Is this the end? Phoenix. I knew it. There's no such thing as a miracle in this world, is there? I think you're wrong. I think they do exist. But you have to make that miracle happen. You've come this far. You can't give up now. But no matter how you think about it, it's try, for my sake. Just think about it for a second. There are 2 ways out of this situation for us. Okay, this is where then we've got the 2. Okay. The first, make on guard wish from the bottom of his soul for a guilty verdict. The killer will always place his client's wishes first. If on guard himself wishes to be convicted, then he will let his hostage go. That may be true, but that's asking me to do the impossible. The second way, force the killer to end his contract with On Guard. If the killer were to no longer think of On Guard as his client, then he would let Maya go. Mia, that's even more impossible. He's a man who values his duty towards his clients above all else. I know both of these seem like impossible feats at first, but if you could make either one happen, it would truly be a miracle. The bigger problem is, the judge has already said he doesn't need any more evidence. The pieces he was shown, he's just not accepting them. Phoenix, think things through from the other side. Isn't that what has always worked for us? The other side? Wait, does she mean... You mean to turn things around? Phoenix, the judge says he doesn't need the evidence. If that's the case, then who does need it? The person who needs the evidence. The defense, prosecution, and the judge. We have all seen these pieces of evidence, and that is how we have come to know the truth. There is one person who has yet to see them all, and that person does not know the truth. That truth, it may be what will bring about the miracle in the end. There were no objections this time, correct? Now then, I will pronounce my verdict. Okay. I'm going to save it here again, because I think... Oh. Okay, let's save, because I want to get it as close to the kind of switch point as I can. Now pronounce my verdict. Why don't we all respectfully sit back and listen, kids? Oh.
Objection!
Okay. I have already told you, Mr. Wright, this court does not need any more evidence. I'm not saying it is us that needs the evidence, Your Honour. Then you want to show the evidence to that person? Yes, Your Honour. Please, Your Honour. Mr. Wright, for you to ask with such a passion, I will grant you one chance. One chance. Please show your evidence to who you think is the right person.
Objection!
That's impossible. To turn a situation around in one try. One try. That is all I will permit. I have to try to remember everything that has happened up to this point. Think, Phoenix, think. There must be a way to save Maya while taking On Guard down at the same time. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's not waste any more time. Who would you like to show the evidence to? Okay. Let's show it to Adrian.
Take that!
I see. And now, tell this court what one piece of evidence you would like to show this person. Okay, let me just make sure I get this right.
Take that!
Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't have anything to say to this. How about you, Ms. Von Karma? Well, I was just shot, so... Let me just get your blankie up, Arch. He's a good boy. Hello. Hello. I'm afraid I cannot allow the defence to continue. What? No one understands what you were talking about anymore. Wait, please, one more chance. That is enough, Mr. Wright. I will now state my verdict. This court finds the defendant, Matt on guard. Okay, so we won. That is all. This court is adjourned. And just like that, the case came to an end. I ran away from the courtroom and wandered the streets alone. I never saw Maya again. The killer is a man of his word, so I'm sure he released her as promised. I heard the verdict of Miss Andrews' trial a few days later. She was found guilty, of course. Well, that's just sad and sad. The miracle never happened. Maybe it was never meant to. Because a miracle is something that doesn't exist. The end. Okay, so that was the bad ending. Okay. Okay, so that was a bad ending. That was the thing just unlocked. Give me a second, you guys, because I just need to go and sort the dog out some dinner. So I'm just going to put you on, be right back, and I will obviously be back as soon as I've dealt with the little scatterpants over there. Back in a sec. Okay. Right, okay. So, I want to continue. I want to load that data. I want to do this the right way. I will pronounce my verdict. Okay, so this time we're going to throw Matt on guard under the bus, is what I believe. I've already told you we don't need any more evidence. But the killer does, because if we show that Matt on guard had videotaped him for evidence, maybe, then the trust thing is gone. Hashtag maybe. Okay, let's try this one. One try. I have to remember everything that's happened. Okay. Now then, Mr. Wright. Okay, I would like to show my evidence too. Just gotta go and let the dog out. 1 second. I don't get any peace around here. I'll be back. Okay, so let's present this guy. I see. And now tell this court what evidence you would like to show the videotape. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I don't have anything to say to this. How about you, Ms. Von Karma? Well, I was just shot, so I'm afraid I cannot allow the defense to continue. What? No one understands what you were talking about anymore. Wait, please, one more chance. That is enough. Okay, so that didn't work. So maybe I need to, Okay, so that didn't work. Why didn't that work? Okay, we try that one more time. Okay. Did I do something wrong? Did I mess it up? I think I messed it up. Okay, let's try that one more time.
Objection!
Objection indeed. I've already told you, Mr. Wright, this court does not need any more evidence. Okay, so we don't need the evidence. One chance.
Objection!
One try. I have to try and remember. I think there must be a way. No, there Who would you like to show evidence to? I would like to show evidence. Oh, I picked John Doe, didn't I, instead of Shelley the Killer? Present. That's what I did wrong. I see, and now I would like to show him the tape, please. Well, what do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? I think there is some merit in showing this evidence to that witness. Bailiff, please bring in the transceiver from earlier. All right. It looks like I managed to convince him. Okay. Maya, she's okay, right? Didn't I tell you to concern yourself with bringing about a speedy end to this trial? Now, if I understand correctly, you wish to show me one piece of evidence. Correct. Yes. One is all I need. I have here a videotape. It was found at your hideout. I heard you injured 3 officers in your attempt to get this back. That was most regrettable. However, it was an order from my client. I was told to protect that videotape. Thought so. I'm afraid I seem to have failed in that regard. Do you know the contents of this tape? I was sternly told by my client not to watch it. So I have absolutely no idea. Actually, you were on this tape. Me? There was a video camera hidden at the crime scene. Your actions were being recorded. What? Is that true, Mr. Wright? Who was it that planted a camera? Well, the only person who could have placed a camera at the scene of the crime would be your client, naturally. That was Adrian Andrews. Be quiet and listen, Your Honour. Yes, sir. Your client specified a place and time for you, isn't that right? Yes. That was so they could film you. I had no idea. Mr. Wright, why would my client do such a thing? I would like to know why. Because he wanted to blackmail him? Why did Matangard film the crime scene? The reason why he did this is my ticket out of this whole mess. There's only one reason why your client would secretly film the crime scene. They wanted to blackmail you. Your client once told me something very interesting. We were talking about you, and this is what they said. But I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. Yes, that's why the video comes in. With that, I can keep him at bay and even blackmail him if I want. Your client didn't trust you at all. They were thinking of using this video to blackmail you. What do you have to say about that, Shelley the Killer? Dear. It looks like I was being deceived from the very beginning. Yes, by a natural. That is the kind of person they are. Your client is a person who only thinks and plots of how to use people around them to protect themselves from any and all dangers that may arise. That is the true nature of your client. I have one question for the witness. Yes. You told us one thing numerous times during your testimony. You said that you detest traitors most of all. Yes, that's right. But what if that traitor was your own client? What would you do then? That's obvious. I would break our contract in that case. And then, that client would become my next target. For the honour of the De Killer name, even if it takes an eternity. I would follow that person to the ends of the earth to exact my punishment. Oh dear. I see. That's all I wanted to know. So the traitor becomes the killer's next target. Ah, I get it. This is how we'll turn this case around. Mr. Wright? Yes? My contract with my client is over as of now. I seem to have a new job on my hands. I will now return to you your precious item. What the? I'm not an item. Maya? I thought I'd never see you again. Oh, thank goodness. This trial appears to have come to its conclusion. However, I am sort of... I don't quite know what just happened there with the client and the witness and... Ms. Von Karma, where did that... She always has you in her sights. Now, I do believe it's time to finally hand down a verdict. Mr. Ungard, it looks like somehow you got what you wanted. You will finally receive the acquittal you wanted so badly. You should be happy. But before that, I would like to make one final statement. Sometime in the near future, one very betrayed assassin may appear before you. Needless to say, that man is very good at what he does. I'm sure you would understand what I mean if you watch this video. Help me. Now then, Your Honour, the verdict, if you please. Is this all right with you, Mr. Wright? We have finally reached the end of a very long battle. Whether he's convicted or acquitted, there is no escape for him now. Go on, Phoenix. Plead whichever way your heart tells you. Right, Chief. We're going to plead guilty. Matt on guard. Even though I am a lawyer, I cannot make your crime disappear. I think a guilty verdict is appropriate here. Me, my wonderful self, guilty? Even if you got an acquittal, the instant you set foot outside the detention centre, your life would be in danger. No matter which way you look at it. You can't run away from your crime anymore. Oh dear. As always, it looks like we have uncovered the real truth. I don't remember you helping out much in this. Mr. Edgeworth, how is Matt on guard? I have left Ms. Von Karma in charge of his incarceration. I'm sure he's getting a full-course meal of whip leather right now. Very good. That was a close one, wasn't it, witness? Yes. I plan to pay my debt to society for my own crime, Your Honour. The first time I was called to the witness stand during this trial, all I felt was despair. She must be talking about the time Edgeworth really went after her. I guess she's trying to forgive him for what he did. This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern to me. But after that, when I was alone at the detention centre, that's the first time I really saw myself for who I am. And today, when the two of you used your combined strength to convict Matt, I felt like I had finally been saved. Wow. This is the first time I've ever seen her smile. I'm really happy that you two were in charge of this case. I really don't know how to express how I feel at this moment. This is the first time I've felt comfortable with myself, with who I am. Thank you so much, everyone. It looks like we have resolved everything at last. As for myself, there are still a few things I'm confused about, but everyone seems to be in good spirits. and that is good enough for me. That is all. This court is adjourned. Okay, so I don't run off this time. You were great out there, Phoenix. What I did out there was right, wasn't it? This is the first time you've not gotten your client off. You got them a guilty verdict this time. But you have to look past all that to what's really important. You now realise that there is something more than just getting a not guilty, right? Yes, I understand now. Phoenix, think back for a second. Think to the moments before Ms. Von Karma arrived with the final pieces of evidence. Think about the incredible decision you had to make. Now then, Mr. Wright, let's hear the defence's final statements on this matter. I can't count on the evidence to help me anymore. I have to listen to my heart. Should I side with justice? Should I save Maya's life? My client, Matt on guard, is he guilty or is he not guilty? Those were your choices then, and your answer? Your answer spoke to what being a lawyer means to you. Right. Edgeworth? I have good news. Maya is now safe in police custody. Really? Girls? You're telling us the truth, right, Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, she's quite safe. She's on her way here as we speak in a patrol car. Ah, Mystic Maya's safe. You did it, you really did it, Mr. Nick. Now she punches deceptively hard for a kid. I believed in you. I kept saying to myself, Mr. Nick will save her. Mr. Nick will save her. Oh. Thanks. Oh. What's wrong? Ms. Von Karma. About earlier. Thanks. Ow. Why are you still smiling, Mr. Phoenix Wright? You lost. Your perfect win record has now been crushed. And yet, you are still happy. I don't think you'll ever understand, Ms. Von Karma. How dare you? Don't worry. She may in time. After all, I was like that myself until a year ago. Edgeworth? For my own personal victories and for guilty verdicts. I used every dirty trick in the book, and so my win record remains spotless. But a man appeared and stood fast against that selfish me. I fought him in my usual manner and tasted my first defeat. I felt like I had lost everything because of that. And then it was my turn to sit in the defendant's chair. And I was saved by that person I called my enemy. I couldn't forgive myself for all that had happened. So I left the prosecutor's office. And I left that note. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth chooses death. As well you should have. A prosecutor who has shamed himself with defeat should crawl into a hole and die. But that was not what happened. After I left the prosecutor's office, I finally came to realise something. And it was in that moment of clarity that everything began to change. What foolish nonsense. We prosecutors use anything we can to attack the defendant. But every time we did so, no matter how desperate the situation, instead of giving up like most people, that man would hold strong with his undying faith. And then, before I knew it, I began to trust in that man as well. What? You trusted your enemy? It doesn't matter how many underhanded tricks a person uses. The truth will always find a way to make itself known. The only thing we can do is fight with the knowledge we hold and everything we have, erasing the paradoxes one by one. It's never easy. We claw and scratch for every inch. But we will always eventually reach that one single truth. This I promise you. The truth. Yes, that's the reason why prosecutors and defense attorneys exist. But I'm sure you knew that already, didn't you, Wright? That's why you couldn't forgive me. This man who went into hiding. Isn't that right? This man who only had his sights set on victory. Who ran away into the night. Ah, is Mr. Edgeworth right, Mr. Nick? You really let me down. When you disappeared, I felt betrayed. The reason I decided to become a lawyer to begin with was because I believed in the things you said to me all those years ago. And you betrayed your own words. That's why, 1 year ago, I made up my mind. I decided that the Miles Edgeworth I knew had died. At least, that's what I told myself. You pathetic fool. Ms. Von Karma. I don't want to hear the wretched whimpering of a disgraced loser. A Von Karma is someone who is destined to be perfect. Miles Edgeworth, you are no longer worthy. You are no longer worthy of being a Von Karma. And neither am I. It's over. It's all over. Francisca threw something on the ground just now. This is an electromagnetic receiver. Isn't that the thing she used to track Detective Gumshoe? I'll return this to the precinct later. There's something else. Ah, isn't that Miss Von Karma's whip? I'll never set foot in another courtroom again. I'm sure that's what she's saying by this action. You should keep this, right? Okay. Nick? Maya. Mystic Maya. Mystic Maya. Ah. Oh, Nick, I knew you would come through. You got on guard convicted like I knew you would. And on top of that, you even rescued me. Well, of course I did. You know I would never desert you. We sure pressed our luck this trial. You're really lucky to be standing here. Whatever. Look, it's over, okay? Besides, if I did croak, I would just come back and haunt you like a bad ghost through Pearly. Is it really that easy to do something like that? Thanks a lot, Nick. Don't mention it. Maya. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm relieved you're all right. Hey, it looks like you made some real progress, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, I suppose I'm a little different from who I was a year ago. Huh. Oh, she's hungry. We gotta get that girl a burger. All right. I think it's time we got out of this depressing place. Huh? Where are we going? Food, Nick. Food. Grub, chow. I'm starved. I'm so hungry, even you look like a nice juicy burger on a bun to me, Nick. You think I look like a burger? On a prime rib at least. Come with us, Mr. Edgeworth, please. If you insist. All right. So how about we hit up our usual burger joint? Don't be silly, Nick. Huh? This case messed up that awesome evening and got in the way of my gourmet food. So I've decided that we have to make it up by having another feast. Another feast? Come on, Nick. Food. Okay, we're going for food. Oh, we're going back here. Sure we are. Hey, pal. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. Gumshoe, are you alright? Yeah, but I'm really embarrassed. I didn't think I would hit a telephone pole of all things. A telephone pole. Then it wasn't a red light that got him. You did it again, city boy. I felt like my dear old heart was going to give out on me, and I ain't joking. Yeah, it was more exciting than the very last episode of The Steel Samurai. Thanks. Now, looky here, Mr. Snooty Prosecutor. Don't you reckon you bullied Mr. Wright too hard? If you don't start being a lot nicer to him, he might just kick it tonight even. I'll keep that in mind. Well, come on now. Everyone gather round. You all are going to get your picture taken by a genuine professional photographer. Looks like Lotta brought herself a new camera. Well, pal, at least we can put this messy case behind us now. Come on, tonight's all about eating, so let's go chow down, pal. Amen to that, pal. Amen. You know, when you think about it, you were the one who saved the day, Detective. Huh? Me? You really think so? He's right. If it wasn't for the 3 items you took, I think this trial would have had a very different ending. Well, you know, it's... Huh? Wait. That's odd. When I ran off with the things from the Giller's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. What? 4? Yeah. I'm sure I put one of those items in my coat pocket. There was a 4th item. Ah, come on, y'all. It's over. But, oh boy, I tell you, you really are something else. Between getting accused of murder and getting kidnapped, never a dull moment with you, huh? You think? Why does she look so happy about that? But being shut away for 2 whole days, weren't you scared? Yeah, it was really scary. I felt so hopeless. So to keep my mind off things, I drew a picture. Sounds like you had it rough, gal. So where's this picture of yours? Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see Mystic Maya's picture. You know, I don't know where it went. Aw, that's too bad. Well, it's alright. It wasn't anything important anyway. It sure is nice to finally see them both smiling again. What is it, Edgeworth? This thing is picking something up. Ah, that's Miss Von Karma's receiver. Ugh, thanks to her, I had the most awful experience of my life, sir. I can't believe she stuck a tracking device on me. That's odd. Even though you're standing right here, the tracking device seems to be in a different location. Oh, it's probably busted or something, sir. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm afraid it's about time for me to excuse myself. I still have some work to do. Huh? Mr. Edgeworth, you haven't eaten a thing yet. You've eaten way too much, you glutton. I had fun tonight. Now, if you'll excuse me... Wait. What? I just want to say thanks, Edgeworth. You really saved me out there. If anyone should be saying thanks, it should be me, right? I feel like words alone aren't enough here. I wonder if there's anything I can give him to express how I feel. What should I give him? What should I give him? Indeedle. What would be a gratitude? I mean, you can have the whip.
Take that!
What's this? Thank you. It's all thanks to you two. You and her. You don't need to thank me. I was only doing my job. It looks like Mr. Edgeworth has left, Mr. Nick. Hey, Mystic Maya? Yes, Pearly? I guess you two can go back to being lovey-dovey, right? You and Mr. Nick, I mean? Pearly, would you cut it out already? You're embarrassing me. Anyway, so who's paying for this lovely dinner party? As if you need to ask. Everyone say thank you to Nick. Huh? Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where I can't even buy instant noodles, pal. So I kind of already put your name on the bill. Huh? Yeah, I got me a situation just like that myself. There's this camera shop in this hotel, you see. And I just bought myself this good old beauty here. It better be anyway for $3,000. Huh? Actually, I reckon you bought it for me since it's all on your tab and all. What? Isn't this great, Mr. Nick? Yeah, Nick. Why do I suddenly feel like screaming? You don't need to hold back now, you hear? Yeah, pal. Time to let it all out. This is going to be the first time I hear the real you. Go on. It's been a while since I heard you say it. I've been busy being a hostage and all. All right then, if you say so.
Objection!
Nice. Okay, so we finished. That's good. Okay, you really came through for me, Nick. I had to hide that letter, but I knew you'd find it. I really feel like I've been living on the edge lately. I mean, I've escaped death 3 times now. Pretty cool, huh? I feel like a pro. I'm so happy that you could save Mystic Maya, Nick. And I'm so happy for the 2 of you. Speaking of which, I think this hotel is a popular place for honeymooners, so I sort of made reservations for the 2 of you just in case. Funny. Well, pal, it looks like I'm back on the force again. Mr. Edgeworth had a long talk with the chief and he got me reinstated for my sake. I heard he said things like, letting that one go is bad. I knew it. Crashing headlong into everything is the only way to live, pal. Nice, nice. Maggie Bird. I'm retiring this uniform as of today. I'm going to be a waitress from now on and bring smiles and joy to the people who come by the restaurant, sir. I hope you'll stop by sometime, Mr. Wright. Yes. Are you here to visit a patient? I'm Director Hottie. Recently, yes, that girl, I haven't seen her around. Yes. But I remember, if I even laid so much as an eye on her, I would go crack. It didn't matter if I got whipped, though. He crazy. So crazy. Oh, Max, it's time to begin our quest of world circus domination, sweetie, and to let the world know we are serious, I plan to make a fabulous flight to Zimbabwe. Hey, Max, what do you think Zimbabwe is like? Do you think there are castles made of cake and bunnies who can talk? I think if there are any talking bunnies, even they won't laugh at most jokes. I'm ready. There's no way these jokes are going to fall on deaf ears. I'm going to be more contemporary with my humour. Mo curls. Represent. We've got our new act all worked out. Prepare for the hilarious hallelujah chorus. Say something, will you? You're supposed to start this off. Get on with it. Oh dear. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for tonight. I was going to start the next one, but we're going to my sister's for dinner shortly. What's this? It's just an oh dear. Old bag's back. Yeah, so we're going to my sister's for dinner, which is nice. So I need to go and get ready because my hair's still wet. Other than that, I think tomorrow we'll start the last game, which will be nice. And then hopefully we'll be done with this in a couple of weeks and I can start something else. This is taking a hell of a time to do. I didn't really think it was going to be this long of a series, but you know, it is what it is. I'm kind of glad because it's very interesting. It's a lot of fun. And again, it's another one of those things that I've checked off that I've been meaning to do this for the longest time. So we'll let these credits roll, and then I'm going to just go and see if there's anyone to raid while these continue to go. Raid. And then I'll hopefully catch up with you tomorrow at some point. It looks like there's nobody around. Nice. Okay, so no, there's nobody around, so we'll just let these run out and then I will say good night or good evening or whatever it's called. Ooh, March 23rd, international departures. Where are we going? Where are you going, Francisca? How did you know I was here? With this? I heard you were planting things on a certain person. Things like tracking devices in his coat, for example. Ugh, that's just like you. I only planted it there because he was always wearing it. This filthy drab coat of his. I don't know how it ended up in my luggage, but it's going in the trash, I promise you that. Oh, that's right. Speaking of that man, he told me something very interesting. When I ran off with the things from Tequila's hideout, I was sure I took 4 things in total, sir. 4 things? It seems he put the last one in his coat pocket. He put it in here. It doesn't matter anymore. The case is already over. What are you going to do now? That's none of your business. Are you running away? Shut up. You don't understand a thing. You can't possibly understand what it means to be Manfred von Karma's daughter. Francisca. So many expectations from everyone around me. Expectations I must fulfill. I'm expected to win no matter what. And failure? Such a thing is not an option for me. My father was a genius. There's no doubt about that. But me, I'm no genius. I've always known that. But I had to be one. I had to. You may not be a genius like your father, but you are a prosecutor. You have been and always will be. No, I'm not. Not anymore. I've even thrown my whip away. Speaking of that, Wright gave me this to hold on to. Right. You knew something like this would happen, didn't you? I'm going to say this again. We prosecutors do not fight for personal honour or pride. I hope you will think deeply about what you should be striking down with that whip. You haven't changed a bit. You've always left me alone and walked on ahead without me. Miles Edgeworth, I've always hated you. And then, finally, my chance to take revenge on you arrived. If I could win against that man, if I could make Phoenix Wright bow down in defeat, then this girl you left behind would have risen higher than you. That was supposed to be my revenge. I see. You know, I can't do it. I can't change who I am. I can't throw everything away. I can't throw away everything I've been until today. I believe you can. Just like how Adrian Andrews did. Adrian Andrews? You were going to use her during the trial, right? But you were dependent on your father by using his tactics, isn't that right? Today you chased after me, after I had left you behind all these years. And that's why we're standing here now, side by side. But I have no intention of stopping. If you say you are going to quit your walk down the prosecutor's path, then this is where we part ways, Franziska von Karma. Oh, I am Franziska von Karma. Don't think I'm going to walk in your shadow forever. Our battle begins now, so you had better prepare yourself, Miles Edgeworth. Oh. And she's off. Bye, plane. The plane's going awfully slow. Phoenix Wright. One day, someday, I'm sure we'll meet again in battle. Until then, this last piece of evidence never made it to you. I'll take good care of this fourth piece, so I can give it to you when at last we meet again. But what is it, though? Are we not going to find out? Oh. Oh. Nice. Well, that's cute. She drew a picture of me. Awesome. Okay. We finished. We officially finished the second game. So with that, we will reconvene tomorrow to start the next chapter. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for follows. Thanks for all that stuff. And hopefully I will see you tomorrow for the beginning of the third game. I don't know what it's called, but I'll check on that tomorrow. Thanks so much, and I will hopefully see you then.